Okay, let's talk about the Spyderco Endela. I was really excited when this model came out. I was waiting for some type of a different steel than just the black VG10 to come out, and so now that the K390 is here, I went ahead and purchased it and wanted to enjoy this steel and see how that steel compared to other Spyderco knives. The Endela is a relatively new knife released by Spyderco that is a little bit larger than the Delica 4 and a little bit smaller than the Endura. So I'll show you some comparisons here and just talk about the knife a little bit. So here is a Delica. You can see it's definitely a little bit bigger, gives you some more cutting edge. Hopefully you can see the link there. Definitely gives you a little bit more cutting edge. Everything else is pretty much the same. I like the grip on it. The grip feels better than the Endura, which can be a little bit awkward sometimes, but there it is compared to the Delica. And then here is an Endura, and you can see it's definitely a bit smaller than that, but it still has plenty of edge. The Endura is a little bit big of a knife for some people. I like carrying it. It's not too big for me, but it can be a little bit big for some people. So I think the Endela does hit a sweet spot here. And it looks like it has a little bit, the cutting edge difference isn't quite as much between the Endela and the Endura. Like, it's clearly much longer than the Delica. So I really like that. This K390 steel, you can see it is definitely not a stainless steel. You can see this is already gotten a nice patina on it. I like to get a patina on my knives, but naturally I don't force it. This is just from cutting some vegetables and things. Also, we have some other things to compare it to here. Here's a Mannix, and you actually end up getting more cutting edge on the Endela than a Mannix. You can see that there. I love the Mannix. It's probably one of my favorites. I love the ball bearing lock. Really wish Spyderco would do more with this lock. I don't know why they don't. It's great. And you know, I would just like to see more knives with more cutting edge than the Mannix, because in your hand this feels like a big knife. It looks like a big knife, but the cutting edge is less than 3 inches, so it's really not that big. And if you really want some cutting edge, you need to get something bigger. But I just love the lock and the way it feels, so I wish they did more with this. But you can see Endela has longer cutting edge there. And then we also have this Sprint Run Stretch 2 with the Para 2 style blade. These are almost pretty much identical. Might be hard to see on camera, but the Stretch has just a tiny bit longer blade. Or cutting edge, I should say. This does have the nice finger choil. These are both great knives. So my first impressions of the Endela are really good. I'm happy with the purchase. I like the size. I like the cutting edge. The K390 has been really great to sharpen. Gets a very fine edge very quickly, not too hard to sharpen compared to some of the other harder non-stainless steels. So it's a great knife, and I would suggest you pick one up.